Hello, I'm Robin McWilliam, and I'd like to spend a couple of minutes talking to you about the principle number 3, about the importance of working with and supporting family members and caregivers. Sharing my screen. This principle is critical to what I believe is the purpose of early intervention, which is to build families' capacity to meet their child's and family's needs. I've often used this very fancy graphic to illustrate this important principle. These 7 circles, of course, represent the 7 days of the week. And what do you suppose this little sliver here represents? Well, that is the visit, the home visit, or the visit to a classroom like a childcare or a preschool. It's a tiny little sliver out of the child's whole week. And even if you account for sleeping time, there is still a massive amount of time that the child is learning, because for young children, all of their awake time provides learning opportunities and therefore teaching opportunities. So that's one point. Another point is that little children don't learn in weekly lessons or sessions. So when we make a visit, our target audience should be the caregiver, because caregivers can benefit from one weekly visit a week. Think of the many things that we do on a weekly visit as adults that then carry us through the week. So it's pretty clear that when we make a visit to a teacher or a parent or other family member, that our focus should be on building their capacity so then they can help the child throughout every day and throughout the week. Here are the principles behind the principle. So all the intervention occurs between visits. This is probably the most salient point that we make when we're talking about early intervention. All the intervention occurs between the visits. So therefore, I'm defining intervention as what the child receives from an adult. What we provide weekly or whatever frequency you're using is the service or support to the family, but the intervention for the child comes from the child's regular caregivers. Second principle, the family sets the agenda. For home visits, the visit before, we should have asked them, what would you like your next visit to focus on? We also found out from them on the visit before what they said they were going to do with the child or for the family. So we can follow up on that. And then when we arrive at the visit, we always check in with them first to see if they have anything on their mind for that day. So clearly the family sets the agenda. Third, parents are competent adults. Of course they are. Otherwise they wouldn't have the care of their children. And we assume competence in all adults that we work with, all caregivers that we work with. And this is a matter of respect, and it also reminds us not to treat them like students or children. Fourth, family consultation is how we work with families. That's the term that I use. It is very, very similar to coaching in other people's vocabulary. And what it really emphasizes is the use of a collaborative approach and not an expert approach when we're working with families. We don't tell families what to do. We find out what they want to do, and we build strategies together with families. But we do make suggestions. We provide support-based visits. We have written about this, about the importance of emotional support, material support, and informational support. And the emotional support should come to some extent from us, but really what really matters is ensuring that the family members are getting emotional support from their informal support networks. Material support is making sure that they have their basic needs met. Think of Maslow's hierarchy, because if their basic needs aren't going to be met, their developmental things that they do with their children aren't going to happen. And informational support should be about a number of different things, including, of course, what to do with my child, interventions. And finally, the principle that we follow is answering the question, why do we have family goals that have nothing directly to do with the child. And that's because of the two-bucket principle. The two-bucket principle is that a caregiver can only fill her child's bucket to the extent that her bucket is full, or his bucket. A caregiver can only fill the child's bucket to the extent that the caregiver's bucket is full. So we are interested in the emotional well-being of the caregiver, as well as their self-actualization, like if they want to go back to college, if they want to get a job, if they want to start a new hobby, if they want time for themselves. All of those are very legitimate ways of filling the caregiver's bucket, and they go on the IFSP. So we're lucky in the United States that our plans do allow for true family level outcomes or goals. So that basically covers the main point that I wanted to make about the importance of building the caregiver's capacity as our main focus in early intervention.